It was J. Adams who said that biblical counselors are to work back to back with physicians. What this means is that each professional has a job to do and should function within that role. A biblical counselor, while concerned about the body, is to be focused on issues of the heart and of the soul. And we look to physicians to address the physical, organic, and bodily issues of the counselee. However, even though doctors can be helpful in caring for the physical issues of our counselee, we must help our counselees know that we cannot put our hope in doctors, because eventually all the medical knowledge and practices on the planet will ultimately fail, and our bodies will die. But our soul will continue on to be with the Lord, which is why we must place the priority on what the Bible prioritizes, and that is the heart, which is to be oriented toward the worship of God regardless of our physical well-being. People are psychosomatic unions, meaning that we are both physical and spiritual, material and non-material, body and soul. Human experience and the biblical records show how the spiritual state of man can affect the body, and that the physical struggles of man can impact a person's walk with the Lord. That is why it's important for you as a counselor to recommend to Sarah that she get a medical examination to see if there are any organic issues she may be dealing with. She has been getting some advice from her friends that seem to be more about eliminating negative feelings than dealing with physical struggles, and the elimination of negative feelings is an unbiblical goal. We want to help Sarah respond to life biblically, and getting a medical exam can help to determine how to care for Sarah. For this question, there are no definitions for you to discuss, but again, I encourage you to be as clear as you can on the positions you take on these issues. Some important scripture references to include in your answer would be 2 Corinthians 4, verses 16 through 18, which is a good passage that helps us understand two things. First, it helps us see the distinction between the inner and outer man. And second, it gives us hope that even though our outer man may be breaking down, our inner man can be growing and improving towards Christ-likeness. 1 Timothy 5, verse 23 is a good passage that helps us to know that we should be concerned about the body, since Paul recommends some physical treatment for physical ailments that Timothy was facing. Another passage that is good to discuss would be 2 Chronicles chapter 16, verses 11 through 12, which is the story of King Asa, who is diseased in his feet, and these verses tell us that he trusted more in his physicians and not in the Lord, and he did not look to the Lord in faith. A good answer to this question would include first a discussion about whether or not you should work with a physician in Sarah's situation in particular, and if so, how would you go about working with that physician in order to care for Sarah? The second part of your answer is to be more broad in the sense that you are to describe what you believe about the cooperation between biblical counselors and medical professionals. Is this something that should take place? And if so, how would you defend your position? And consequently, what would that look like?